Good morning, designers, and welcome to this week's episode of Game of Rugs. You will be shocked to learn that today we are going to do a fairly normal episode. We're going to look at some scores, we're going to do the daily, we're going to vote on some rooms. But before we do all of that, I wanted to check in on why we're getting double home points, which I don't need. Um, I'm glad I can get double home points, but all my homes are done. Also, I don't care that much about them. I like the money. I like the diamonds that you get when you finish rooms in my homes, but okay, cool. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into it today is when you get a score on a room that you like and you don't get a 5, and then you look at the top designs, and this is so common. It's so common to hear, oh my god, my room was like exactly the same as hers or almost identical to hers, and she got a 5 and I didn't. Uh, so I did this challenge at Cabin for All Seasons, and I'm gonna try to put the two my room and the 5 that's very similar up together here. But what I will say is that the difference between the 4.70 that I got and the 5.0 that she got is 0.6%. No, it's not. It's 6%. Um, so we're talking about a very marginal score difference that's dependent on very marginal differences. Do I really like my room? I do. I really like my room. But it's not exactly the same. It's not a duplicate of the room that got a 5, where I got a 4.7. Commonly, when you hear people say, our rooms are almost exactly the same, what they mean is the furniture, like the chair, in this case, the sofa and 2 chairs, the furniture set that I chose is the same as hers. It was a bundle week, so the rug is the same as hers and the art is the same as hers. That's the end of what is the same as hers. So whether I like my room more or not, and I do, the difference between these two rooms is that her sideboard is more closely matched in color to the furnishings that she chose. Mine's a little bit darker. She chose different stools than I chose and different plants. And I think the plants probably made a big difference because she chose the wood toned plants, and I for her floor decor as well. So the wood, the matchiness of the wood really stood out in her room, whereas I daringly chose to use two different kinds of floor decor. So I used pillows on the left and floor pots on the right. And none of this means that I'm not happy with my room. I am happy with my room. And I'm happy with my score, in fact. I mean, a 5 would have been nice, but a 4.70 is a really good score. Um, but the point of this entire monologue is that a lot of times when people say, my room is the same as hers and she got a 5 and I didn't, her room is not the same as yours. There are differences, and those differences are so comfortably an arguable basis for why that room scored better than yours did. Additionally, we should point out that in previous episodes we have done experiments where several of us have submitted literally identical rooms and all gotten different scores. So there's that. A lot of it is the luck of who you're up against in your voting. To be fair, this was not an attractive room. I mean, it's fine as a combination of furniture. My choices did not deal with the orange at all. Um, to be fair, neither did any of these. I mean, yeah, all these rooms are fine. I have no feelings about them. Do you know what? I don't have any feelings about the rooms that got 5s. And I don't have any feelings about the rooms that didn't get 5s. I mean, this is very nice. I do like this room. Um, but in general, I'm just not a fan of this, and I don't really like outdoor rooms. So that's fine. Bethany Beach. Oh, well, that's a shock. Okay, I did this room. I used those anthro chairs to um, comply with the room requirements, which I think were blue stripes. Oh, I remember. Hold on one second. Coffee. Mm. Okay. So, by the way, my life is now not worth living, in common with 33% of people who have, is it 66%? I don't know. People who have Irish genealogy, who have Irish genes, have, or are Irish, obviously, have the highest percentage of lactose intolerance in the Western world. So I had to drop dairy from my diet because it was just getting excruciating. And now I'm having coffee with oat milk, and it's not that it's not good. It does taste good. It's that my body is just failing to recognize this as morning. So the struggle is real. Anyway, right, I think it was blue striped was probably the criteria. And what was funny or not funny about this room is that I put in the 2 anthro chairs. You needed 3 blue striped items. So I put in these 2 anthro chairs, and then I put in the matching footstool. And the matching footstool does not count for blue striped. It counts for blue, but it doesn't count for striped. So that was incredibly annoying. And then this couch over here on the left with the pillows has, as far as I'm able to discern, absolutely no stripes at all, and yet fulfilled the 3rd criteria for blue striped. So, I don't know. Go figure. I will say that I spent a lot of time choosing that thing over there on the left. The thing that's not a bookshelf. That. Roxy, you're snoring a lot. Okay. So I spent a lot of time choosing that, and also the coffee table was just a lucky find. Finding a coffee table that combined off-white and black like that in a way that really works in this room. Holy shit, Frank, shush. was just really luck. Okay, so that was a surprise 5. I did really like this room. And wow, that's a really old rug. That was a very old limited edition rug. Also, that one. I just admire these people who are able to hold on to these things forever. I could hold on to art. That's about it. Alright, anyway, there's that. And Beachside Escape. What? I don't even know what that is. Oh, the annoying 4.96. Fair. I mean, here's the thing. This room is so well coordinated and really nicely balanced and just so boring. It's so boring. I mean, I do not blame voters for giving me this score. I I mean, it's my room and my score, and I literally have nothing else to say about this room. It 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 matches. I'm kind of done now. I don't know. All right. Okay. And then speaking of being kind of done now, this is today's daily. I did not sneakily begin this room before starting this episode. I do want to say that this is a rustic room, and that sucks because if you stick to the remit, voters hate you. And if you don't stick to the remit, the people who do stick to the remit also hate you. So we have like this super divisive issue of do you stick to the remit or not. Honestly, I don't usually care, and I especially do not care in the daily when my goal is just to get the room in. So my question is, should I be super daring? I actually like rustic, but all the stuff that I like for rustic rooms, voters hate. Like, I love that. We don't have a lot of wall art that's really different. Um, do I have a like a dark? I'm looking for the design decision I've apparently made here. It's flowing from the rug. So I have apparently decided to put dark brown furniture in this room like this. I don't think that looks. Oh, wait, that does look good because it's got the dark brown and then the brass verticals match the brass color of the window surrounds. So that's good. Is there a matching coffee table? Does that match? No, it really doesn't. Is it the worst coffee table in the world? Also, no. Are we going to be here forever? I get anxious that I'm taking up too much of your time. 14 minutes. All right. So not the longest episode in the world yet. Cool. They're so bad at this whole in-set thing. This coffee table is in the same set. Surely. Yeah. It's the Mercer. Is this not by Mr. Brown? For God's sakes, right now. France and Son, fine. This is what happens when they're all buying the same furniture from the same manufacturers. Somebody in the Design Home subreddit whose name I can't remember did at one point figure out who was manufacturing, like who the core manufacturer for all of these. Like this is the same as the Mr. Brown coffee table and bookshelf. So is it Mr. Brown or France and Son who's manufacturing them? And the answer is neither. It's another company. And she figured out who it was. And it is super interesting because you could go and see all of the furniture and then see how, like, Kathy Kuo had this furniture and France and Son had this furniture. And yeah, it's all the same. So this coffee table is not it, but I'll fix that in a minute. I will get around to fixing that. Would this chair be more ideal in this rustic room? Yes. Do I want to spend 2,000 diamonds on a rustic chair I will seriously never use again? Not really, no. How about those? Does that go? I mean, it could. I don't really understand rustic. Like, people are like, oh, don't use the outdoor furniture indoors, no matter what the room remit is. But then, like, that's a rustic thing. I mean, ugh, fine, whatever. I don't make the rules. I also often don't understand the rules. Is that okay? That seems okay to me. And then we need a brown. I do really love that sofa, by the way. This is the Burke Decor Boon sofa. It's my platonic ideal of a sofa, uh, but it doesn't have anything that matches with it, which is, as the kids say, fucking annoying. So I do need a brown coffee table this color, that is this color. However, not that brown coffee table. We need a different brown coffee table. Let's sort by color. Uh, 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 it matches the bookcase, but then it's too modern. Is it? It is. We need something more rustic. Or not. How about that? That's nice. And I have a matching side table, but it doesn't want one, so that's cool. And how about these? Just use these. Or these. Why don't I just put everything I own? That's a lot of brown there. Ugh. Why don't I put everything I own that people hate into this room and just really go for it? Off-white. Roxy, shut up. Ugh. The other thing that annoys me is that my favorite trees, which are transparently in off-white planters, don't count as off-white. Why? Because this game sucks. Alright, those brown stools are very brown. I'm not arguing that. But I am just pointing out that as you put more white into this room, it becomes much less overwhelming, and this shit all looks better together. Something inoffensive to put on the coffee table. That's perfect. Often what happens is that I put a room together, and then what I want to do is go back and change the first thing that I put into the room. and hung everything else off of. So I'm just questioning whether I want to change this bookcase. And as it happens, I do not. I may want to change the coffee table. But I'm too bored by this room to sit here and do it now. So let's do a round of voting just so we can do some voting. Oh, oh my God, everybody in the world did a better job than I did on this room. I struggled so hard. Can we just talk about these flowers for a minute here? Level 125. I can't wait to get old. So nice. 129. Look at the things that you get. They're lovely. Anyway, I'm going to vote for the room on top. Just because the rug on the bottom is so light, it looks like it doesn't exist. Oof, neither one of these is outstanding. The green rug on the bottom is weird, and that baby art is strange. So we're not voting for that, even though there are two pieces of art and more decor. I'm voting for the room on the top. Oh. Neither one of these rooms is great. The room on the bottom, the vibes from the furniture is immaculate. Those chairs. The same on the top. The choice of dining tables, coffee tables, sofa, chairs, and then it's like, okay, having put together a beautiful room, please add the most unattractive rugs and art that you guys can find and just fuck them in there. Just fuck them in there with a forklift, dump them, and run. So disappointing, and I'm voting both of these rooms equal, and I want those people to go back to their rooms and think about their poor life choices. I hate the room on the bottom, but at least it's coordinated, so I'm choosing that because the room on the top, very nice, has nothing to do with the room we were given to design. The room on the top's not terrible, and the room on the bottom's pretty empty. The more I look at it, the room on the top, the more I like it. Nobody in real voting looks at a room for this long, so that's a problem for the room in terms of voting. But Phyllis Peterman, good job. That is a nice room, and you should feel proud of it. And that seems like a good note on which to end voting and today's episode. So thank you very much for joining me for this episode of Game of Rugs. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see future episodes of Game of Rugs, please feel free to join us as a subscriber. We would love to have you. Bye now.